Thank you very much. Shall we be seated, please? Our guest of honor, allow me now to invite to the podium Reverend Michael Mkandawire to come and open with a word of prayer. Thank you.
Shall we bow our heads and pray? Father, Lord, in the name of Jesus, we give you glory and we give you the honor for who you are. What a privilege that you have allowed us to be here and gather together in this particular auditorium for a time like this. We thank you for people rejoice. They do that because these are the people, oh God, that follow your principles, your values, oh God. And that's why we say thank you for this particular opportunity, that you would want of us as Malawians to be a people that should be able to embrace the values that are transformative, the values that should be able to bring about the reconciliation and the unity that we so much desire. And we thank you for your son, Timothy, Lord God Almighty, that you continue to cover him with your glory and your wisdom, that as he presents the lecture that he has, oh God, Lord, you make us as Malawians to be able to comprehend and be able to live as you want us to live. And that's why we pray that our discussions will be fruitful in this room. May the Holy Spirit, may you hover over this particular program in Jesus' mighty name. Amen.
Thank you so much, Reverend. At this point in time, our guest of honor, sir, allow me to now welcome Dr. Devin Koma, the Deputy Vice Chancellor, to come and give the welcoming remarks. Thank you, sir.
Honorable Timothy Kwagwanji, Mtambo, Minister of Civic Education and National Unity, Dr. Elizabeth Chindevu, Principal Secretary for the Ministry of Civic Education and National Unity, Dr. Teddy Nankumwa, Magu Council Chairperson, Mr. Albert Newa, the Magu Registrar, members of NBA, Malawi Assemblies of God, Mr. Gift Trapensi, Chairperson for HRDC, Mr. Lawrence Piri, Chipiri, Executive Director for LITE, Mr. Ezekiel Makalani, Accountant in the Ministry of Civic Education, Mr. Grayson Chisanje, Deputy National Strategist, CFT, Ms. Chimeme Maunde, Publicity Secretary, CFT, government officials, representative for civil society organizations, members of Magu Council, members of Magu Senate, Magu administrative staff and academic staff, Magu students, all invited guests, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. It's a great honor to welcome you, Honorable Mtambo. This is not the first time to be at Magu. You have been such a wonderful friend to us, because at a time when very few institutions would open doors for you, you managed to come here and even address. So this is not your first public speaking event. But having said that, we are also glad to say that as a cabinet minister, you have come up with civil education that you want to give out to the public, to the community. And it is such an honor to give Malawi Assemblies of God University as the first place to deliver such kind of event, to organize such kind of event. We are so grateful, Your Honorable, and all the government officials for allowing us to host you here. And on behalf of Malawi Assemblies of God University, Vice Chancellor, the whole team, we want to welcome you in a special way. Honorable Minister, I don't have much to say because I know that most of these people here, they can't wait to hear you speaking. You have been such an inspiration to a lot of young people, and I'm sure that by the end of today, we're going to be blessed to hear whatever you have prepared for us. And we just want to honor you and thank you and appreciate that. I hope this is not going to be your first and the last, but every time you feel like coming to associate with our students, you'll be most welcome, sir. Having said that, I say thank you and most welcome to Malawi Assemblies of God University.
Well, thank you so much, Honorable Minister. We have one performance. I know time is against us, but just allow me to ask our musician to give us just one piece, and then we proceed with the program, please. Are you ready? It's coming? Okay. It's coming? We don't have much time, so if they're not ready, just let us know so we proceed. Are we ready? No? Okay. When you're ready, you let us know. Maybe we can slot you at some point. Thank you so much. In the interest of time, our Honorable Minister, sir, all protocols observed, we shall proceed with the program this afternoon. As the area speaker has rightly said, that we are all eager, we are all hungry to hear what you have, not only for us, but for the nation and for those in diaspora as well that are looking to this event. I've had a lot of calls from abroad, and they're trying to get connected to us so that they can hear what the Honorable Minister has for us. So, Honorable Minister, sir, we want to give you ample time to deliver what you have for us. And at this point in time, without wasting much time, honorable members, I shall allow the Honorable Minister to come forward and deliver the lecture. Thank you so much. Let's rise to our feet as he takes the podium, please. Let's put our hands together.
It's an exciting moment to be here. I stand inspired, not only by the fact that I'm standing before intellectuals, but I'm mindful of the fact that this institution is an institution in which the Holy Spirit dwells. So, for me to stand in this space is such an honor. And I feel deeply energized because I know that the one we worship is with me, is with us, and is with the great Republic of Malawi. I recognize the presence of the Principal Secretary for the Ministry of Civic Education and National Unity, Dr. Chindevu. I recognize the presence of the Vice Chancellor of this great university and the entire leadership of the university. I recognize the presence of various government officials that are here with us today. Thank you for coming. I recognize members of various political parties that are here today. Thank you for coming. This is not a political function, but rather a national function. When we, the people of Malawi, are to engage in a serious soul searching to rediscover ourselves so that we chart the new beginning. I recognize the presence of the students, the intellectuals. It's such a humbling moment that today I stand before the people that I value most. Being the former student unionist, when I stand before the students, every time I get a strange spirit that gives me the power without fear. So thank you. Members of the Magu Intelligentsia, are we ready? Are we ready to engage in an intellectual midwifery? Today, together, we have to give the birth of new knowledge. And this exercise, a great Greek philosopher called it an intellectual midwifery. This is none but Socrates, the father and founder of philosophy. We meet today because we believe that our country can only be better if it is made up of capable and patriotic citizens. So we have come with our quest to seek a better Malawi. I would like to sincerely thank the President of the Republic of Malawi, His Excellency Dr. Lazarus Chakwera, for giving me this responsibility to work together with the people of this country to ensure that this country is a country of united people, is a country of people that love each other, and is a country of people that are empowered, a country of citizens who are civically empowered. So the presentation that we have today is about transformative national values towards national reconciliation and national unity. The fact that our country is not as united as most of us would have wished remains the truth. So, what we do, we are a nation where lawlessness has become the order of the day. Criminality has become the order of the day. Our women, our girls, has become an endangered species. The question is, what is the problem? In most cases, we seek to address the symptoms rather than looking at the root causes. Probably, The discussion today brings us into a wider discussion where we need to look at the actual problems. I'm not a stranger to this institution. I've come before, we have discussed revolutionary issues, and I'm happy to see comrades like Andrew Salima. Comrade, thank you so much. You have organized these functions before, and we'll cherish that. But today we have come in a different mood and situation together. And probably the room is more bigger than before. I've seen a number of revolutionaries in our space. Dowd, thank you for coming, and the rest of us. Right now, we need to get to business. I hope this technology will not betray me, because I'm the man from the village. Can I be assisted? Because it seems like it's not responding. All right. Can we go back a bit? All right. Like this? Manja atu wanduti anachokera patari. Ndi sagura is. Can you come and okay, next slide. Yeah. Okay. All right. Manja amenewa ndakumudzi. Ndi amagwira zinthu za kumudzi. Kamene kasika kugwiriza ndi manja wa. Can we move to the next slide? Is it that you are sitting far, then technology is failing us? All right. This is how our presentation is going to be this afternoon. We would want to appreciate what we call restoring the lost glory of our nation. We need to understand the context, where we're coming from and where we are. Resetting the national values for citizens' transformation. As I indicated, it's about citizens. The product of any nation, it depends on what kind of citizens that we have. So we strongly believe we are talking about transformative citizens. We are going to learn from the three-dimensional Tonse Alliance approach, which is the super high five, as advocated by our president, the mindset change drive, as championed by our vice president, and the citizens' transformation paradigm shift. Then, the need for transformation paradigm shift from business as usual to business unusual. Then we are going to talk about truth, reconciliation, and peace in the Third Republic, the Tonse government. Next. The watershed presidential elections of 23rd June saved Malawi from the onslaught of industrial-scale corruption, regionalism, nepotism, lack of rule of law, adversarial politics, and political hooliganism. Malawians as a nation must now stop and take stock of the past to determine the future. Today we are not here to discuss personalities. Today we are not here to discuss who is responsible for what, because these are the issues that we know. But we want to understand the problem and see how can we analyze and change the face of our challenges. I put it to you that since the advent of the Second Republic, after the referendum of 1993, we, the people of Malawi, are guilty of what Mahatma Gandhi in 1869 to 1948 defined as 7 deadly social sins. These are what Comrade Mahatma Gandhi called the 7 deadly social sins. The first one, he talked about wealth without work. The second one, he talked about pleasure without conscience. The third one, he talked about knowledge without character, commerce without morality, science without humanity, religion without sacrifice, politics without principles. I'm sure all of us here are able to appreciate that most of these sins are relevant to date. I'll not get into details to analyze them. But let me just write 3 of the sins which I think, as a people of Malawi, we have suffered with. I said I will not point fingers. We did that before, and it's time for us to look at issues as they come and probably soldier a new way forward for our country. We have practiced politics without principle. There is no doubt about that. Politics of hatred, that every time you wake up, the only thing you think is, how do I destroy my opponent? We have forgotten and departed our country to the extent that all we think about is oti amene ujanditana naye bwanji. You open the social media as I speak, you find highly charged citizens for nothing but because they're hired to do so. These kinds of politics will not take Malawi forward. A few have amassed wealth without work, very lazy people, but the richest. While our mothers and sisters, our brothers, our grandfathers toil in the villages to make their ends meet. But some few have amassed national wealth without mercy and without any kind of work. We have indulged in commerce without morality. Talk about this. Corruption. Some people have captured the state and created thieving safe havens. We cry for Mother Malawi. These sins, we have to stand up and we need to stop, and the time is now. The lost glory. Values we had before are no longer. The question is, what happened? We were a nation where children were told that when you see an old person is carrying a heavy luggage, we have to go and help them. We used to respect our grandparents, but now it's no longer there. We have become a country that is indisciplined at all levels, and the civil service has been the biggest victim. In taking stock of our past, we step back in time to what I call the First Republic. This is the period between the independence, that is 1964, and during the time we embraced politics of pluralism in 1994. Arguably, the Tonse Alliance movement and its government constitutes a new dawn and a new beginning, indeed, the Third Republic. It is important to note that Malawians opted for political pluralism because our values and aspirations changed. Therefore, the status quo was no longer an option. However, in embracing change, we did not carry along with us the good national values that we could have adopted from the First Republic. For instance, values of unity, loyalty, obedience, and discipline were thrown away as we transitioned in the multi-party democracy. We followed what I would call transition or change without transformation. Not every change is important, but fellow citizens, I call on you to embrace transformation, because when transformation is involved, we are safe. After that, which followed was the disintegration of professionalism and work ethics within the civil service and the citizenly laissez-faire approach to issues. As we transitioned in multi-party democracy, we needed to analyze the values of unity, loyalty, obedience, and discipline, and threw away only those values that were against principles of human rights rather than throwing everything away. Esteemed citizens and comrades, I put it to you that in 1994, we threw a baby with bathwater. Esteemed comrade, I put it to you, comrades, that we in 1994 threw an old jacket with golden buttons. What we should have done is to take away the old jacket, we remove the golden buttons, we keep and we forge ahead. I would like to recognize the presence of the Minister of Energy. Thank you so much for coming, comrade. I really appreciate it. Thank you. What is the aftermath of the lost national values? Comrades, gender-based violence has become the order of the day. Domestic violence has become the order of the day. Rape and defilement of women and girls has become the order of the day. Human trafficking and child trafficking is an issue that we're struggling with. Violence against our brothers and sisters, persons with albinism, has become the challenge of the day. Violence against our elders has become a problem. Getting old has become a problem. Our grandfathers have become endangered species, a thing which we are not taught a long time ago. When we see elders, we saw the fountain of wisdom, and we could go and sit closer to them to learn from them. But now, we have the audacity to mercilessly kill an old person, thinking getting old is connected to be a wizard or a witch. These are sad days for our nation. Values we are talking about, I would like us to define so that we understand the context in which we are moving. There are many definitions, but for this discussion, we are going to go with this one. Accepted principles or standards of a group of people or a nation upheld through the common experience of the nation. The values and the United States of America national anthem. The US national anthem talks about some of the critical issues that we're going to talk about here. Just to highlight a few: the popular home of the free and the land of the brave. The US national anthem has shaped the American values, including their democracy, free speech, and how they view themselves on the global scale. The no fear factor makes them dare anything. Inspired by the national anthem, a national anthem is a national prayer. A case study, the case of US's values: individual freedom and self-reliance. The belief that every person is unique, special, and the basic unit of nature. Emphasis on individual initiatives stressed the need for independence. premium on individual expression and value privacy. There is equality of opportunities as a serious value that is followed. Material wealth and hard work. Can we go next? Now, I need us to appreciate the sources of values and the benefits of values. We are not going to take these values from Jupiter or Mars. These values are not going to come from the space. These values are going to come from us as a people. That's why we are talking about an example of America generating its values from its founding documents. From Malawi, we would get these values from the national anthem. We would get these values from the coat of arms of Malawi, the Malawi Constitution, the Bill of Rights, the Malawian culture, the Ubuntu philosophy, African philosophy, that we are each other's keepers, that an attack to one is an attack to all, that the natural feeling that was endowed in us as human beings, the so-called conscious, dictates our actions. This is how beautiful our African philosophy is. We are going to get these values from faith books, the Bible, Quran, etc., etc. But the importance and the benefits of values, national values, you and I would agree that every institution has values. Every company has got values they follow. The question is, what about a country? A country is the company that deals with people's welfare. If a small company in the village will have values, what about the great Republic of Malawi? What values dictate our day-to-day social welfare? If we talk about mindset change, esteemed comrades, will remain an academic rhetoric if we do not put up sets of standards that would be able to guide us as a society. Values would regulate human behavior. Values would transform citizens. I'll keep repeating, a country is as powerful as the strength of its citizens. The capability of a country lies in the strength of its people. Focus on national development. In fact, values would help to focus on the said objectives that we put and goals as a people. That's why in companies we have values like teamwork, team spirit, transparency and accountability. These values are supposed to regulate the culture of our people. Values will help us to achieve unity and reconciliation. We have no choice but to unite and move as one people. All these things we do every day, spitting hate against each other, will not take us anywhere. We have the great republic to save and the country to deliver. So we know that if we unite, it is said, united we stand, divided we fall. If we unite, nothing can stop us. Learning from the three American charters and national values. The three documents, the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, and the Bill of Rights, have secured values and rights of American people. There are many countries we can talk about, but I had to take a case study of the United States. Every American speaks and speaks this at heart. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal and that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. This is what they call the American dream. That no matter how different they might be, they all believe in these cardinal values, the cardinal virtues, that the right to life is non-derogable and is sacred, and it has to be protected no matter what. And that liberty, they are free people. Freedom of expression, association, assembly. These are values American people believe in deeply and dearly, regardless of their differences. That they all believe that they have to be happy. And it is the responsibility of their government to make sure that its people are happy by ensuring that there are proper services. And any government that violates these cardinal values, the American people believe that it shall be removed through democratic means, and a new government shall be put in place. I do not need to put examples, but they are dictated by values. So, if we talk about Malawi, which values do we hold in highest esteem that they can even help us to make decisions when there is a crisis in the country vis-a-vis political crisis? Some people tell me here we have the Constitution, we have the laws, we have this. Yes, they're there. But values are virtues of the highest order. Even the laws can be generated from the values. Next. Here is one of the sons of the soil, the former president of the Republic of Malawi. Now, we have been talking about America whatsoever. And let's talk about Malawi, because people might think we are just talking about zinthu zakunja. His ideological values, His Excellency Ngwazi, the life president, believed in the four cornerstones of unity, loyalty, obedience, and discipline. And he believed that these values are not just political words. We should understand each other here. According to Ngwazi, he said, there are words and actions that influence one's life. If one is to succeed in life, one must subscribe to a code of personal behavior. These are holy teachings that have guided and protected human society for thousands of years. Dono, that's 2000, page 44. These values we talk about are not just there as political things. Probably we might have misunderstood our first president, and we thought the solution is just to kick everything away, thinking it was for him. That's how Malawi has failed. Every time anybody that comes thinks he'll come up with new things, and they will abandon old things. Sometimes you would even abandon ideas which you cannot even manage. Sometimes you do not even dream, but you abandon ideas which people work so hard to achieve. So I put it to us. I believe that as a country we should have evaluated these, and I strongly believe the value of unity we should have adopted. And thanks to the current president, he has brought it back. Hence the establishment of the ministry I am so proud to serve. The value of discipline, we should have adopted it. We need a disciplined society at all levels. But we are so excited we abandoned everything. Next. Now, we are still home. We are in Malawi, re-singing the national anthem and national values of Dr. Panda. The Malawi national anthem, like the American anthem, brings out the need to respect our leaders, protect our national wealth, as well as a call on us to embrace national values. Now, as a country, we are focused on one stanza of Malawi national anthem. Our national anthem has got 3 stanzas. And there was wisdom why they are all different and they are all important. It's so unfortunate that we focused on one and abandoned the others. Sometimes I ask myself a question, is this the reason why probably we have failed or why we have abandoned our values? Let's look at the first stanza. We all know it. Oh, God bless our land of Malawi. The first stanza is a prayer for peace and unity. That's line number 2 and number 5. That God should protect us from what could destroy us, such as hunger, disease, and envy. It is also a prayer for protection of our leaders and the country at large. Sometimes you ask a question to say, are we exhausted on what we call the threats of our country? There is a modern threat like corruption. I don't know what we do about that. But I'm just trying to highlight the values that are embedded in the first stanza of our national anthem. Comrade Kazako, you are welcome. Thank you for coming. Second, the second stanza is interesting. It talks about our Malawi, this land so fair, fertile and brave and free, with its lakes, refreshing mountain air. How greatly blessed are we, hills and valleys, soil so rich and rare, give us a bounty free, wood, forest, plains so broad and fair, oh beauteous Malawi. This stanza is crucial. This stanza calls upon Malawians to be proud of our natural wealth and jealously safeguard our natural resources that include fertile land, lake, fresh mountain air, hills, valleys, and plains. It also talks about taking pride in being brave and free. Now you look at this and you talk about issues of climate change. Our forefathers were wise. They knew that as we affirm our national prayer, we need to talk about and be proud of how beautiful our country is. Next. The final stanza is rich with a lot of values. Freedom ever, let us all unite to build up Malawi with our love, our zeal, and loyalty, bringing our best to her, Mother Malawi, in time of war or in time of peace. One purpose and one goal. Men and women serving selfishly in building Malawi. You have seen that our first president was wise. He extracted these values from the national anthem. To some extent, we thought maybe he just had them and they were dictatorial values. in this last stanza, sets our national values that include freedom, line number 1, unity, line number 1, dedication or enthusiasm, line number 3, patriotism, line number 3, unity of purpose, line number 6, loyalty, line number 3, selflessness, line number 7, gender equality, line number 7. When we say this country has to be protected and this country belongs to all of us, women, men, we testify this in our national anthem. When we say you have no right to rape our sisters, our mothers, this comes from our national prayer. Our forefathers, I know at that time, even the whole notion of gender equality was not a serious issue, but they were so wise to include it in our national anthem. So these values can be generated in our national anthem. Next. Now, the government coat of arms and national values. When you go to the coat of arms, you find 2 words, unity and freedom. These are values. The symbolism in the coat of arms elucidate that even when you are different, but when you hold hands in unity, you can build a nation. All these things, we just look at them as things. The flag, just as a thing. But olden the days, our children knew the meaning of the flag. They knew the meaning of the coat of arms. Right now, you ask a young person, who just tell you our flag is made up of red, green, and black, and the sun. But the symbolism within that is not known. Therefore, he or she has no reason to pay allegiance to the same. Next. The Malawi flag and national values. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe and strongly agree with John that our flag is more than just cloth and ink. It is a universally recognized symbol that stands for liberty and freedom. It is the history of our nation. It is marked by the blood of those who died defending our nation. We are dealing with serious issues here, and we need to appreciate from that. Next. Now, the question is, where have we gone wrong in terms of values? The Malawi national anthem has been reduced to an instrumental, and where words have been sung, it has ended on one stanza. So in the instrumental bas mango vesera and it kamaimba mauti mango tera pa stanza imos. By focusing on one stanza, we have failed to instill in our people the need to be proud of our natural wealth and rich heritage and jealously safeguard our natural resources. And that stanza, too, is all about that. Stanza 3 sets our national values that include patriotism, unity of purpose, and selflessness. The national anthem should be sung as a whole. It is a recommendation. We should sing our national anthem as a whole because every stanza has a meaning for our people. And if we are to look behind and look where we are and forward, we need our people, our children, to be able to sing the whole national anthem. The South African national anthem is longer, but they do not say, let us cut it shorter. The American national anthem, the same. The British national anthem. But I don't know what kind of laziness that we have that we should just end it, our national anthem on one stanza. It is a betrayal for our forefathers who worked so hard to ensure that they produced that comprehensive national anthem. Paja kuchanko timaiduraso. Kuchanko timaiduraso tukakuyandi asogoreri timaipanga shorten. imangotera kuti tisaope, timanena kuti sitikufunaso atsogoleri athu adalisidwe ife takwiya. Koma the recommendation is that let's change and start singing the whole national anthem. Let it be a mandate in all the schools. Because you go in most schools nowadays, they do not even take pride of the national anthem. Anambili atusakuiziwa national anthem. For the code of arms, we have not paid attention to it, apart from putting it on government documents. There is need to give life to the code of arms so that everyone is aware that by our national symbols, we are called to freedom and unity. Next. My fellow compatriots, like Dalai Lama once said, open your arms to change, but don't let go of your values. You can accept, you can be able to embrace change, but don't let go of your values. My call to you today, fellow citizens, is a wake-up call. It is a call to rediscovery and restoration of our core values and our national identity and pride. When I ask you to say, what is our identity? What shall we say? We just leave kumarimbana, kumayambana, zopanda baki. When we need to unite together and make our country great again. Next. A call to action and robust debate. Our duty as a ministry is not to impose things on you. These are national values. These are not the values for me or the ministry. They're the values for the nation. The philosophy between this government is basically to transform this country. And that starts with the way we do our day-to-day things. My fellow compatriots, I submit to you today that the rediscovery and restoration of our core values, our national identity and pride can be realized by resetting, repositioning, and realigning the national values to the transformation agenda. I talked about change and transformation. I can see in the picture our leaders dedicating this country into prayer. I can see the people power movement reminding us, all of us, that if we mess up with them, they are going to rise and deal with us. So, I am making a corrective call to the leaders and the people power movement, the citizens of this country, that these values are our values and we need to all participate in the discussion. We are called to action now. Next. Resetting the national values for citizens' transformation. A three-dimensional Tonsi Alliance approach. The Chakwera Super High Five, the mindset change, and citizens' transformation. When foni kama vuta, umaipanga reset, kuti yambire bwino bwino. So if we talk about starting a new Malawi, we need to place a reset pattern. Next. So these are three-dimensional approaches in resetting our national values. The Chakwera Super High Five presents the starting point of our discussions. Mindset change is a vehicle to produce transformative citizens. Next. This is what the Chakwera Super High Five is all about. Servant leadership, that we are called to service. As I stand before you, including comrades that are sitting here, You are our bosses and we are your servants. Izi sizokambira naso iyayi. Ma citizens ndi mabwana. Ife tiri mipando ya bomayo ndife antchito awo. Koma, that said, it doesn't mean that citizens have the right to insert their leaders in the manner they want. Because when you become a leader, you become artificialized. You are an artificial being. You represent a certain set of people. So if there are issues, we speak to each other with respect and honor. Apo nimafuna nipange correct. Sizoti inu ndia ife ni mabwana, makape inuyo muti bwanji, magai, ngini zotere, ndizosaroredwa. You know, to accept public service is not an easy one. There are some people that in public positions, solely to serve, that they had something to do before, that they become leaders, it doesn't mean that you can say anything you want. So I just wanted to say that this is wangini zimene kuti tikamaya nkura tiziya nkura ndi ule. Magai tumvana. Tumvana magai. Now we are servant leaders. Uniting Malawi is non-negotiable. Prospering together is similar to the American value, the pursuit of happiness. You know, when you prosper together, you are happy, isn't it? So it is an important value. Ending corruption, it is the disease that has destroyed our country. The rule of law, nobody is above the law. That's why the laws were created without eyes and ears. Lamuros dilibe ma feelings itu. That's why likati likupane limapana zenzeni. Silimaona kuti uyu ndi ndani. Tikumvana. Now, our president was wise to come up with this. This is one of the best campaign summaries I've ever seen in my life. After being a student of philosophy, political philosophy, and political sciences, I think this is one of the best summaries I've seen. Next. Now, we talk about mindset change. And this is what our vice president summarized in his presentation. He talked about obsession on trivia. We are so obsessed on useless things. Go to the social media. You are not going to gather anything productive that you think it would help. There are those so-called zigobas who think they can say anything. But sometimes I ask myself, the energy, where do they get that energy? Because for some of us, every time we wake up, we have to think of something to do for the great Republic of Malawi. So tukunena kuti, let's not be obsessed with trivia. That's why we need to create citizens for transformation. You know, you talk about politics of stupidity. Indeed, you was right. We have focused much on politics of stupidity. That when you have your so-called boss, then anyone is useless. And you can do anything to them, you can insert them. Hero-worshipping leaders. We are not gods, we are just humans. We can also make mistakes. We need you, that you should help us to move together. Because our failure is the failure of the whole nation. So the vice president was right with his summary on these issues. So mindset change remains so key amidst us. And we as political leaders should make sure that we advise our people to walk the talk. Tisamango yankura, pomwe the direction of our people are going in a different direction. We have a solemn obligation to do that. Next. Now, we talked about the high five. We talked about mindset change. Now we are talking about national transformation through national values. As I said, it's about the citizens. If we have good citizens, so good. If we have got problematic citizens, it's another problem. Next. I feel so inspired by these two people, Yolanda and Martin Luther King. What we need to do is to learn to respect and embrace our differences until our differences don't make a difference in how we are treated. So clear. Martin Luther King said, we must learn to live together as brothers or perish together as fools. We have no reason to be divided as a country. Otherwise, we are going to perish as fools. All these things, tribal issues we talk about, they're useless, immaterial. We must unite. And it must be now. Next. National values. I'd like to talk about self-discipline. I don't know, I love discipline. I think every CEO, every executive director, and every leader would want to have a disciplined team. That's why even the president would want to have a disciplined country. Discipline and commitment is a pathway to reach goals and dreams. I do not need to unpack that. Next. National values, prospering together. Sikuti tizgawana drama, kuti tigawane, kuti we prosper together. Zintu tizizimvesesa magai. My students, tikumvane. So prospering together, this beautiful lady once said, people will forget what you said. People will forget what you did. People will never forget how you made them feel. We have to be very, very careful in life. The way we treat people can remain in their hearts forever. So we need to make sure that as we grow together, we must prosper together. We must value each other. We must make everybody around us happy. Next. Now, embracing national values. These are not conclusive values. This is just for the purpose of this presentation. Look, we are talking about national patriotism. And you'd see that from the national anthem and everything, we have tried to pick some values just to ignite discussions. So look, national patriotism, allegiance to Mother Malawi. Self-discipline, work hard, work smart with integrity. Unity in diversity, we are stronger together, is non-debatable. Prospering together, fairness, opportunities for all. These are just samples of the values that we are putting forward for discussion. Next. National patriotism, self-love, self-discipline, unity in diversity, prospering together, will contribute to national values for reconciliation and unity. Next, embracing the national values towards national unity is what we'd like to go through as quickly as possible. We have to hold each other. Zoma dikira kuti uyuyu alepere moyo wachimizi ngati umenewo ukuyenera kuuta kuno ku Malawi. Anthu ena nthawi ndi nthawi amangopemphera kuti uyu alepere khalidwe lopusa, khalidwe limene tikufuna kuthana nalo kuno ku Malawi. When you see your brother failing, we have to hold them and rise together with them. When you see your sister failing, you have to sympathize, not celebrate. Dere kumango pempera kuti uyarepera, tukufuna repere. We are not going to move our country forward. And it is very painful when such things come from young people, because we have to think differently. We have to be agents of change, not agents of destruction. We have to embrace these values. Next. We all know this guy, Tutu. He said, no peace is impossible when people are determined to achieve it. If we, the people of Malawi, are determined to achieve peace, unity, and development, nothing is impossible. Next. The Malawi nation will need to know the truth. We cannot continue hiding the past from each other. We need to know what happened. We have lost a lot of our brothers on suspicious death, both in one party, even in my party. So we have the right to know the truth. The more we keep on sitting on these things, the more detrimental it becomes to our country. We need to know the truth before reconciliation. You can't demand truth and reconciliation. You have to demand truth. People have to hear it, and then they have to want to reconcile themselves to that truth. That's what Comrade Brian Stevenson said. Next. Reconciliation. I think reconciliation begins with self. There is reconciling at different levels of our being, and it is not only until we connect with ourselves at those levels, whether it's emotionally, spiritually, physically, or intellectually, that we can also move into other spaces of reconciliation. This is important. It begins with us. We have to open up and we have to forgive each other. Samakare ngati ife basi tinapanga chibale ndi Satana kuti ife basi timadana nazo izi situkufuna. And we are calling upon those that can open up. But ena kuti amapanga zintu out of influence. They open up and say the truth to the country. The country will look at them with massive eyes. Ena kurepera kufa mamizi mwana karamba. Maybe the spirit is haunting. We need to rise together as a people. There is no harm to letting people know the truth. It begins in your heart. Next. How do we come to terms with truth and reconciliation? When we know what atrocities took place under government machinery through time, we will need to acknowledge and come to terms with them and make decisions to move on. Acknowledging the atrocities and dealing with them will help us to heal and ensure that government is not in the forefront, afflicting pain on its citizens, that citizens take up their role to safeguard their freedoms. Government is there to save the people and protect them, and not to fight them, not to silence them, not to threaten them. This is at the core of reconciliation. Next, the bottom line. National values must be defined by the policy framework as an act of parliament from the basis of our national constitution. We have had values before, but they were abandoned because people thought those values are connected to specific political institutions or political parties. The beautiful values that our president is preaching to us in the Chakwera Super High Five. Next, we have the next leader will just throw them in the dustbin as Angoti is on Chakwera, even though he or she doesn't have capacity kubweresa zao. Tikumvana? Now, for us to be safe as a people, we need these issues to be protected by government policy so that they are owned by everyone. Whether governments change, they will still be there. Way forward, there is need to engage in a robust national discussion, debate, consultative process to seek public views on these subject matters. We are leaving no one behind. Religious leaders, academia, traditional leaders, civil society, the media, all of us, we have to contribute to this process because we must own them. These are our national values. As a ministry, we will initiate and facilitate the discussions. We need your views and inputs to this. Next. Conclusions. The lost glory of our national values must be reclaimed and rejuvenated. Secondly, we must open our arms to change, but remember, you should never let your values go. As a people, we must reset our national values for citizens' transformation. Let it be business as usual, not business as usual. To reset our values, we must embrace the three-dimensional Tonsi Alliance approach, the super high five, mindset change, citizens' transformation paradigm shift. Points to remember: for us to redefine our core values, there is need for a robust debate, discussion as a nation. The new values must be aligned to our national development agenda and our policy framework. We need reconciliation as a nation. Truth must be told before reconciliation can take place. Let us reward attrition where perpetrators of the past atrocities voluntarily come out in the open and confess to their wrongdoing. Reconciliation must begin with self, me. Forgive them, but do not forget them. You can forgive them, but do not forget them because they are important to you. They are your brothers, they are your sisters. So you forgive them and remember them so that you love them, you move with them together. When somebody comes out, doesn't mean that I will never forgive this one. That person is the person we need to embrace and work together with them. No peace is impossible when people are determined to achieve it. The past is for us to learn from. The present is for us to manage. And the future is for us to change. That is our obligation. Thank you so much for your attention. Any questions, comments? We want your inputs. And as we finish, I want to see the national anthem as a whole. First stanza, please, of the national anthem. This is our first stanza. Second stanza, please. This is our second stanza. The third stanza, please. This is our last stanza. Thank you very much, and may God bless you. It's time for questions. Can you please facilitate? So, Steven. Okay. All right. That's okay.
Shall we give the Honorable Minister a big hand of applause, please? Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Let's give him another big hand of applause. Come on, let's do it. Another big hand, another big hand, another big hand. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much. I hope now you forgive me why I had to cut most of the protocols down so that we can give the Honorable Minister ample time to go through what was burning in his heart. And I know this is just a fraction of the many things God has put upon his heart to share with the peoples of this country. And at this point in time, we only have a few minutes for questions. Somebody will come around with a microphone. We shall take 3 questions in a row and then allow the Honorable Minister to respond accordingly. Do we have the mic which is going around? Right, okay. Let's begin from the back and move forward. There's a gentleman at the back. Please tell us, introduce yourself, and then ask a question. It has to be a question, please. It must be very brief. It must be brief to the point. Thank you very much. A microphone, please.
I appreciate the presentation which the Honorable Minister has just delivered. I want to congratulate him for such a wonderful step he's taken. But I have 2 questions. As I was listening pretty much meticulously to his presentation, he made mention of the fact that some of the national values we lost include unity as well as discipline. Fortunately or unfortunately, the Honorable Minister never mentioned the values of loyalty and obedience as being in the category of those that we lost. My question is, does the Honorable Minister think that these 2 values, which were also promulgated by the President, Dr. Banda, of loyalty and obedience, does he think that these values are not relevant to the politics of our time? Number 2, the Honorable Minister referred to the Declaration of Independence, the U.S. Declaration of Independence, as a framework from which the people of that nation derive a sort of the American dream. Now my question to him is, do we have in Malawi a sort of the Malawian dream? If we don't have that, is the minister, through his ministry, working on framing such a Malawian dream which will unite all of us in pursuing common goal for the nation? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay, please take a seat. Since those are already 2 questions, we shall take one more and then allow the Honorable Minister to respond. Another hand at the back, and then we will take another 3, a set of 3.
Thank you so much, Mr. Moderator. My name is Saulos Chilima, standing as one of the child rights fighters in the country. Allow me first to thank the Minister for the wonderful presentation. And I expected that at the end, we are going to sing the national anthem or the stanzas. Otherwise, up to now, it's today that I've come now to know the other 2 stanzas. My question is one. I just wanted to find out from the minister as to what, as a ministry, are you doing with the loss of the values, whereby there's rampant cases of rape and defilement. I'm talking about this because there's a gap in our law. the gap that is there between what the Constitution says and what the Penal Code says and what the Child Care and Protection Justice Act says. That when it comes to issues of law, pursuit of the cases that are at hand, when a child deemed to be a child by the Constitution around 17 or 16, 17, the cases are somehow mishandled. I just wanted to find out from him on that. Is he aware of this gap? And if he's aware, what is the ministry doing to address such? Okay. And at the end, we are also looking at the community. Is the minister doing enough to sensitize the communities? And what arrangements has the minister put in place to address such? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We shall now allow the honorable. One more question? Okay.
Thank you.
The minister says one more question.
All right. Thank you very much.
Yes, please.
Honorable, thank you for the public lecture. Very well done and very enlightening. My name is Frank Ngalande, and I've got one question very briefly. In the spirit of national patriotism, as was in your presentation, also being called for in the stanza number 2 of our national anthem. Our natural resources have been victims of an accumulation by dispossession. And I wanted to find out, how is the government and the relevant ministries working to ensure that we empower our very own indigenous Malawians to harness Malawi's natural resources for achieving sustainable socioeconomic development in the country? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We shall now take the honor to allow the Honorable Minister to respond accordingly. Honorable Minister, sir.
Thank you very much, comrades, for clear and important questions. The first question was about the fact that I mentioned unity and discipline, implying that probably the other values for our first leader were not important. I mentioned all the values, but I singled out the 2 because as a Democrat, I strongly believe that the 2 strongly subscribe to democratic values. But it is up to us as a people to reflect on all the corrective values. So it was just an example to say what was wrong for them to abandon unity and discipline. Other values, we can always debate. That's why we're encouraging debate. And if we think they are important as a people, collectively we'll decide on which values do we need to embrace. The question which was asked also by the same comrade was about whether Malawi has a Malawian dream. Your thinking is as good as mine. We do not. The purpose of our meeting today, and the more meetings that we'll have, is probably to get into an intellectual midwifery and think of what could become our Malawian dream. That shall be done by all of us collectively. The second question was about what my ministry is doing about criminality and lawlessness that has engulfed our society. My ministry, collectively with other ministries, are working tirelessly in ensuring that our people are basically reached out with messages which will help them realize that what is happening is satanic. We have been across the country in different districts. I have personally visited communities where such atrocities have happened to engage community members in ensuring that these vices should become the story of the past. Our ministry and other ministries are working hard to ensure that there is law enforcement. As I speak, His Excellency the President of the Republic of Malawi ordered that a task force should be established that will deal and eradicate these issues. My ministry, together with other ministries, are working together in ensuring that we come up with a corrective solution to this. A day ago, the minister responsible for Homeland and Gender, including my PS, they were at the State House presenting a report to the President, updating the President on what is happening. Collectively, we are working together to deal with this malpractice. The National Initiative for Civic Education, NICE, has been given clear instructions by my ministry that they should ensure that they mainstream these issues in all their programmings, so that we should reach out to all the corners of our society. NICE has over 9,000 volunteers across the country who are working day in, day out, fighting these vices. But I would like to put the same question to all of you, to say, what are we doing as a people? We need to work together in the belief of the African philosophy that an attack to one is an attack to all. We need to be each other's keepers. So we are calling upon all of you that we should work together. Civic education is a collective responsibility. It's a responsibility for traditional leaders, a responsibility for religious leaders, a responsibility for NGOs, a responsibility for all of us. My ministry is there to provide leadership in the response. So let us work together, because we have no luxury in handling issues of life and death. This is about life and death. And I would like to put it to all of us that even the issues of rape, for a father to rape a 2-year-old child, I do not think that father needs any kind of civic education. That father is an animal that belongs to the jail. So for that, we call for law enforcement. And this government is not going to play games. We are going to ensure that we deal with this malpractice in a general way. Why we are talking about values today is to deal with such issues. These values would want to inculcate them in our people. My ministry is advocating for the reinstatement of civics in our schools. And we have made a lot of progress with the Ministry of Education. I've responded to this. And the problem we are seeing today is a product of a long-term laxity on issues. It's a product of failure to have values. I don't think if we have a disciplined value, somebody would have the courage to beat a woman. I don't think so. So these values will contribute to deal with these challenges in the long term. But as for now, we must collectively work together to deal with the problems. There was a question about disparities of the laws, that the laws are not speaking to each other. He mentioned about the Child Protection Act, the Constitution, etc., etc. When we have a problem, we tend to discover some of the disparities and gaps within our systems and our laws. It's our duty now to tighten the laws and to make sure that the laws are speaking to each other. Our laws are there to resolve our challenges as a people. Now, the final one was about how is government ensuring the empowerment of the people vis-a-vis issues of natural resources, etc., etc. The indigenous people. I know there is a question and a challenge amidst us that our people are disempowered. This government will ensure that we are all prospering together, because that's the philosophy that our president is promoting. It is a pillar that is guiding us. So we are going to ensure that all the challenges and weaknesses that we have, we resolve them without causing another problem. There might be this excitement to say some sects or sectors of the society have benefited more than others, but we do not empower the weak by disempowering the strong. We need to pull the weak so that we give them a favorable environment so that they get together. That's why we have issues to do with deliberate actions towards empowering even women, children, the youth. So we do not think it's right to put Mike Tyson and me in the same ring. Kumamenyana ndeo. Andimenya definitely. So tikufuna TSS ngati boma. Kuti china Mike Tyson azimenyana parevo yao. Na also my comrades like comrade Pagonachi, na also azimenyana parevo yao. So that na also kali ndi opportunity. Parevo yao kuti they compete fairly. And there must be deliberate efforts to empower everyone in this country. That's why there is an effort by this government to ensure that we look at these ratios. You hear about 40% indigenous and foreign people. These are discussions deliberately to make sure that we empower the locals. I thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Honorable Minister. I think now I'll take, let's have gender balance. Do we have any ladies' hand up? Please give our lady, our good lady there. We want to hear all voices. That's what you're saying. We are all equal before the law. Is the mic on? Is it switched on? Okay.
Great. Okay. Thank you. My name is Nyokase Madise. I am an artist and a gender activist. My question to you, Honorable Minister, is on accountability in terms of gender. And I ask this specifically to leaders in this room. Honorable Minister, as a philosopher, you know the story of Animal Farm, where the pigs fought together with the animals in the farm, and they were able to chase the farm away. The pigs decided to lead, and at the end of the day, they came up with the dogma: all animals are created equal, but some are created more equal than others. Now, in Malawi, we are currently facing a situation where there are so many crimes against gender equality, and gender-based violence and discrimination is rather at an all-time high. Now, my question is, while there is so much policy and so much initiative to tackle this, what are we doing to make sure that the men in power and the people in power are being accountable to these policies? Because it is the men in power, Honorable Minister, it is your colleagues, your friends. It might even be you, I don't know, but it might even be you, who are in the forefront in perpetrating crimes against gender equality, in the forefront of perpetrating sexual harassment, in the forefront of perpetrating violence. Now, what are other young men going to do when they see that their leaders are doing the same thing? If the leaders are leading by that example, then everyone else is going to do the same thing. So while there are so many policies in our government, what are we doing to make sure that our leaders, our ministers, our presidents, our CEOs, our vice chancellors, our deputy vice chancellors are also being held accountable to policies that advocate for gender equality? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for that question. Let me look at this side. Do we have ladies this side? Anyone? Question? Yes, please. Let's have our lady there. Thank you very much. Shall we have our lady there, please? Microphone. Please, let's be precise when we're asking questions so that we can cover as many as we possibly can within the opportunity that we have with the Honorable Minister.
Okay, thank you. I'm Gloria Wire. I'm from this institution. I'm a student. So my question was, what is it? Okay, I was asking on, you say the national transformation is looking at the lost values that we had as Malawi. So I was asking, there are values that you mentioned, like prospering together. There is unity in diversity. I was looking at that and I saw that there is this tendency, there is this problem, there is this group of people. These are the rich people. They do not believe in prospering together and national unity when we are diverse. So I was asking, how is the ministry going about it? How are we targeting these rich people? Because in the villages, we are working together. We go to the farm together. We are doing things together. But in the townships, you find people going to work. Maybe they're working in the same place, but then everyone will go out with their own cars. There is no unity. People in the villages are planting trees, while people who are contributing to climate change with their cars and stuff, they are not doing anything. They're just seated. So I was asking, how is the ministry going about it? What are you doing? I mean, addressing this group of people who are the rich, because you've addressed so many times to the poor.
Thank you. Thank you for that question. I'm sure the minister got it. Let's have the question from that row, please. That end, please. Thank you very much. There's a hand up there. Thank you. Yes, that hand up there. Can we have the microphone, please? Thank you very much. Thank you for these very important questions. The good lady over there, please. She's waiting over there.
Oh, okay.
Give her the grace. Thank you so much. We appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you for your understanding.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. My question is short. I agree with your presentation that we have, as a nation, we have indeed lost our values. And on the presentation way forward, you have stated of engaging the public in restoring the lost values. Now, we are all aware of the rampant rape cases that is happening. And as a ministry responsible for civic education, what is it doing now to curb this vice and instill values to the citizens? Of course, we really need civic education as soon as yesterday. And in your ministry, and you said that your ministry, you have engaged Nice Trust to help in civic education. Now, my question is I'm asking to say, is your ministry open to engage other youth organizations to help in civic education so that we inculcate these good values to the citizens of Malawi? Thank you. By the way, I'm Patricia Manyengo.
Okay, let's have the last question before the minister responds on this round. Yes, my brother there.
Yes,
thank
yes.
you.
My name is Daud Suleiman. Thank you, Honorable.
Okay. All right, thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you, Honorable, for the wonderful presentation and a reminder of what we need to do for a better Malawi. I appreciate your time, and I kept seeing this word in your presentation, discipline. And I saw that you also dwelt a lot on stanza number 2, which talks about the resources that we're given as a nation. But I think there's one resource which we've been given that we're not accounting for. That's the resource of time. As a generation and as a nation, we seem to have totally lost how to account for our time. We don't think that time matters in us transforming this country. Do you, as a minister, think that proceeding on this trajectory of laissez-faire will transform Malawi? Do you think that if we continue being lazy people who don't appreciate deadlines, are we going to transform this country? Allow me to, through a brotherly court, for instance, you told us you'll be here 4:30, comrade. You got here 5:30. Comrade, you wasted 1 hour. We need to account for that 1 hour. In the same vein, you'd see that, comrade, there was also another youthful person, an artist, who was scheduled to perform at 5 o'clock. And that was 6:30. He was called, he was not here. Now, as a youthful generation, should we continue abusing time, comrade?
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Let's save time. Let's allow the Honorable Minister to respond. Thank you, Honorable Minister.
I will start from the last question. Thank you very much, Comrade Suleiman, for the question. Indeed, an issue of discipline and time management is one of the most important assets that we have. That's why in my presentation I talked about laissez-faire approach in the citizens, and as definitely affected us, and have, as a people, lost a lot of achievement we should have attained because of that. I would like to account to you, my bosses, that I came at that time because I was waiting for the instruction for the people who are here. I was here, ndinali pakona pena pache. Ndinabwera kare. So amandiuza akuti musabwere kaye tikonza ziwiri zitatu. So I would really agree that the issue of time, it's an important one. Koma sina chedwe nali mu compound momu no magai. So thank you very much. You know, this debate is getting interesting. These are some of the issues that we need to be talking about. Somebody talked about accountability on the policies that we implement as government. During our transition, we also lost an important aspect of our society. During Kamuzubanda, kungopanga mistake pangono uri mazi. Tiumvana. Because we engaged in change without transformation, we have adopted a culture as a country of coming up with good laws, policies, rules, regulations, but we have become pathetic when it comes to implementation, enforcement, and accountability. Our country, Malawi, has got a lot of beautiful laws and policies on paper. But how many times do we sit down as a people to reflect on the same? To say, are we making progress? Or what should we do? I was asked a question to say, what are you doing as a ministry? At the center of our ministry is transformation. Sometimes I hear people saying, what is this ministry all about? Everything new, when it comes, it receives resistance, but some resistance is deliberate. Civic education is for the people. You are called to become civically empowered citizens. Civic education talks about responsibilities on the side of citizens and obligations on the side of government. In the space we all engage is called the civic space. And if our democracy, our development is to work, we need to become active citizens. The demand side has been weak. Sometimes we put pressure and condemnation on government, but we just watch the government doing the wrong things. So we need to demand accountability. It is our responsibility as a people. My ministry has set up a platform which we call the Pabwaro platform. The Pabwaro platform is a platform of accountability, is a platform that is going to take government closer to the people and vice versa. We would want to open up to the people. The government is for the people, of the people and by the people. So what we are saying is that we would want to ensure that we're as accountable and transparent as possible. This platform, we're saying, is going to invite any government ministry, any government agency, and any government department to face a citizen assembly for accountability. In this platform, we are going to articulate the policies, the laws, and how we are implementing the same. That is part of accountability. So the Tonse Alliance government is going to be a very honest and open government. We are not going to run away from the people, because we know it is the people that we serve. What are we doing? Servant leadership. It is what is driving us, that we are servants and not bosses. What are we doing? It's the rule of law that is driving us, that we are not above the law. We are all under the laws of this country. If I'm corrupt, I shouldn't be spared because I'm within government. Gone are the days that when you get in government, you build a bulletproof around you when it comes to issues of accountability. We have had a lot of cases at Anti-Corruption Bureau, which are suspended when some people get in power. Immediately they're out, they're investigated. Our leadership is saying we need stronger and independent institutions to deal with such issues. This is what we're doing as a government. There was a question about a group of people who are rich and who might be potential people that would be providing resistance to these attributes and virtues and values. For instance, the issue of prospering together. The question was about the rich may not be comfortable with that. We are in the rule of law regime. No one is above the law. And this government is not going to spare anybody. We have a serious president and a president who is here to ensure that we serve our people in the manner we are supposed to. So, have we targeted them? Most cases, indeed, we go to the villages, talk to the villagers. Indeed, it's a strong recommendation. We need to start gathering some of these communities, also engage them. And we should all be part and parcel in the fight for a better Malawi. I thank you so much for such a recommendation. We know that we reach out to everyone through radios, but I think we need to specifically have tailor-made programs where we reach out to some people probably who think they cannot be touched. The issue of rape, GBV, and others, there was a question to say, you mentioned that you have assigned NICE. What about the youth and the others? In my submissions, I highlighted to say this is our collective responsibility. I said all of us, young people, traditional leaders, religious leaders, we have to work together in this fight. We cannot leave this fight to one institution alone. Even the NICE Trust is our institution. It's a government institution. So they need to be given sufficient support in their struggle. I think I've responded to the questions I was given. I thank you so much for beautiful questions.
Let's give the Minister, Honorable Minister, a big round of applause. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. The objective of this lecture was actually to stimulate this kind of rich debate. I think the Minister has ably done that. And again, in the interest of time, we will not be able to accommodate all the questions. However, I've been advised by the ministry that if you have any burning issues, they would like to address all those issues. So please do put them in writing and make a submission to Mr. Can you just stand so people can see, Mr. Mann? Just stand, please. Thank you. Yes, please. All right, thank you. So please do make your write-up, your questions, and submit them, and the minister will be able to address them to you specifically. Please understand us that we are so constrained with time. It's critical. We really appreciate your burning questions. I will need guidance from the Honorable Minister, but time is really, yes. But do write your questions. We really appreciate it. Thank you very much. At this point in time, very briefly, we shall ask the guest artist, please give us a short piece. Give us a short piece. Thank you very much. While the Honorable Minister and all Honorable Ministers here present, we acknowledge your presence and thank you so much. Shall we have the guest artist, please? The guest artist, please. Shall we have the guest artist, please? Please, very quickly, please. Thank you very much.
Hello. I'm humbled to be here today. Lero ni tsiku limodzi mwa matsiku amene ndizayika pa profile yanga, and I'm lucky to attend this kind of an event, and I'm honored to stand in front of the honorable ministers to perform as a guest artist. Pepani tachidwa tinakulira ku Blantyre komwe timayendetsa kuchokera ku Lunzu kafika kulimbe in 25 minutes, koma kuno kuchoka pa interchange kufika Bomba tayenda 31 minutes, so tikupepesa foja chimene, so vuto kayandi. All right, thank you. Tikuphunzisana bese. Ndi chimodziso cho ndikuphunziseni. Izizi ndi za chikondi cha munthu ndi munthu nzachi. Where we say, you are the one in a million, in a million, in a million. You are the one in a million, in a million. Can you sing with me and say, you are the one in a million, in a million, in a million. You are the one in a million, in a million. Love is a beautiful thing. If you have a lover who loves you, love is a wonderful thing. If you have a lover, welcome to town. Fatima Mona yenera konde, na emkazi ya yenera bebe. What is the terrace that she could live that day? One day kuya mikirana, day kuya pererana. Sikavuta ni kumande titana that day. Magadidiro, mpaka tikola ukwati. Sikoli sikome mdoti. Wote kukodana kwati. Mpaka tikola ukwati. Sikoli semere yivi. Wote kukodana kwati. Zante ile. It is an infant that you teach when you say you love your baby. Tikale banjalo open Jehovah. Tibale wana open Jehovah. Asayende open Jehovah. This is my favorite part. We say, Olonga kane utakalamba. This is a typical Koyakana. This is a cosa kubetulia. Sing it me. Olonga kane utakalamba. This is a typical Koyakana. This is a cosa kubetulia. Say, wakati kula ukwati. Sikuniza ngombe mdoti. Kote kukodana kwatu. Wakati kula ukwati. Sikuniza mere yivi. Kote kukodana kwatu.
Let's give them a big hand of applause, please. Let's give them a big hand of applause. Okay, all right, all right. Okay. All right. There's good news. I've got good news. Listen to this. All right. There's good news. Listen. All right. The good news from the minister, the honorable minister says, the artist will continue. Okay, but, all right. But this is what will happen, all right? We shall allow him to sing one more piece, and then we close to allow the dignitaries, those who may want to go, to take leave of us. But the music will continue thereafter. So bear with us. This is important. So I think at this point in time, let's welcome the musician who will come later. I think shall we allow him one piece or just close? Just close. Okay, one short piece, and then we give a chance to the vote of thanks and then closing prayer. Is he ready now? Okay, let's have the vote of thanks. Thank you. Let's finish, and then we can continue with the music after that. We shall now invite Dr. Ted Nankumwa, chairperson of Magu Council, please to come and give us a vote of thanks. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Honorable Minister, and the other two ministers that have come here, Honorable Kazako and Honorable Kambala. You came to join our guest of honor this evening. We want to thank you because you elevated the function. Your coming really demonstrated how important this function was. We want to thank you, Honorable, for the wonderful delivery that you've given us. Is thought-provoking, and we know you targeted the right people. The youth are the future, and transformation should target them because we are assured of sustainability of that measure, that information and the intention. So we want to thank you. When I was coming, I wasn't so sure in terms of patronage, but immediately we walked in, I was so comforted to see that MAG was really prepared for this function. So I want to say thank you to our students for coming, and I know that you've not wasted your time, isn't it? You are not responding with that zeal. Did we enjoy ourselves? And we want him to come again. And I see Honorable Kazako is here as well. Probably you see that this is a good environment for dissemination of important messages that government is coming up with. Let's strategize to engage the youth all the time. So we want to thank you for setting this example, Honorable Minister, and we know that your colleagues would also follow that suit to come and continue impacting us with the right messages. And I want to thank other dignitaries in here, including the PS and your senior management that are here. We want to thank you for coming, importantly for prioritizing MAGU. There are so many universities, but you felt it right to start here. So we want to thank you. I want also to thank the senior management of MAGU that are here, the Vice Chancellor, the Deputy Vice Chancellor and your team, for engaging government and inviting them to come and deliver these important messages. We want to thank you. I don't want to spend much time because I know we are geared to continue enjoying our artists coming again. So I don't want to belabor speaking long. I think we don't want to water down what has been delivered already. With these few remarks, I want to thank you for coming, and Honorable Minister and your colleagues once again, thank you for choosing MAGU. And we know that this is just a beginning. You continue coming to this place. I want to thank you.
Thank you so much. Let's give another round of applause, please. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Just before we invite the Reverend to come and close with a word of prayer, allow me, Honorable Minister, also to express my personal thanks for allowing me to MC on this important occasion. I was actually reminded that I didn't introduce myself. Someone reminded me because I was just excited to hear what you had for us. When it comes to events like this, some of us, our names don't matter. But just in case you want to know who I am, my name is Reverend Dr. Webster Siame. I'm the Vice Chancellor for De Young University. So we are so happy to be here. This is our sister university, and we believe in producing a new brand of leaders that are coming into the field in the immediate. So all honorable ministers, we feel so humbled that you took your time out to just come and spend time with us. We don't take any of this for granted, and may God continue to bless you, continue to bless the leadership of this country and the Republic. Thank you so much. With these few remarks of mine, allow me now to invite Reverend Evans Jeke, Head of Theology Department, to come and close with a word of prayer. Please. Thank you. I think soon after that, the minister requested that we sing the whole national anthem before we go, all the three stanzas. Shall we? Okay. No, that's fine. Thank you very much. Thank you.
I hope my brother Jeka is not raptured, but I'm here on his behalf. Let's pray. Father, we give you the glory and we give you the honor for whatever you have done for us tonight. Thank you for your goodness, and thank you, Almighty God, for the presentation. I pray that you help us as a nation, that we embrace and allow these particular values sink and become part of us. That we can be a nation that will be worthy a nation. We have wasted much time in the past to be a nation that somehow we didn't have a direction. Maybe because we lost the values that were worthy for us to embrace. And now we call upon your Holy Spirit, that Lord, you help us, that whatever we do, we endeavor to be a people that will be godly in all what we'll be doing. I pray that we'll be known to be a people that will be able to stand for those issues that are worthy, Almighty God. So I pray that you'll be able to bless your people. Bless the Honorable Minister and all the ministers present and everyone, oh God. I pray that you bless the Malawi Assemblies of God. You bless the Malawi Assemblies of God University. May you bless this particular nation, oh God. This nation do not belong to any man. This nation belongs unto you. Help us, oh God, and may this particular nation achieve her dreams. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister and all ministers here present. We shall now allow the Minister and all ministers here present and all dignitaries to take leave of us. But please let us stand and allow them to take leave of us while we remain standing. Thank you so much. Let's remain in our seats. Let's remain standing while all our ministers, the guest of honor and all ministers and dignitaries here present, take leave of us. Let's remain in our seats, please, as we allow the honorable guests and all ministers and dignitaries take leave of us. Thank you. All right, we shall now invite the guest musician to take position. Our guest musician, please. If we want to stand, we want to dance, whatever we want to do,